So your body wants to heal. This is principle number 6. Your body is designed to heal trauma. Trauma is a survival strategy of storing the energy and emotions in your body so you can hopefully heal it and release it at a later time, perhaps when you feel safer or you're more resourced. The energy and emotions, even if suppressed and contained in the body without an obvious effect, will still be having a negative effect on your body on some level, whether it be disease, anxiety, disconnection, chronic pain, autoimmune issues, gut problems, skin problems, etc. While we have a capacity to contain this energy to a degree, it is limited and your body will still want to release it. And this is why you may experience flashbacks, dreams, nightmares, morning anxiety, repeating patterns in your life, and anxious thoughts. So, flashbacks. I've worked with many clients that have experienced PTSD. They often experience intense flashbacks where they feel like they're reliving their past experiences. This is because the survival energy is sitting inside them unprocessed. Having flashbacks is your body's way of activating the trauma in a subconscious attempt to get your attention and release it. Your body's literally saying, hey, we went through this experience and we still haven't fully dealt with it. Please, can you do something about it? I have had clients get chronic nightmares and vivid flashbacks where they are constantly haunted from the past. Then, as soon as I help them to release the energy, they couldn't even bring back the memory no matter how hard they tried. This was their body or their subconscious mind's way of saying, hey, we've dealt with this now. There's no need to think of this ever again. And this is a common experience that my clients have. This is also true of those memories that come to mind now and then. If you've ever wondered why your mind continues to bring up negative memories from the past, now you know. Dreams, nightmares, and morning anxiety. When you go to sleep, your conscious mind switches off, and any unprocessed emotions and feelings can come to the surface. This is a chance to feel it in an abstract way. Oftentimes, the dream won't make any sense, and we may even be aware we are dreaming. Sometimes this makes us feel more comfortable with feeling what needs to be felt. The nightmare or dream itself is unimportant, it's how it makes you feel. For example, years ago, I used to have recurring dreams of me fighting someone, and no matter how hard I hit them, they just wouldn't go down. Now, the feeling fueling this dream was a feeling of powerlessness. I don't know, in that moment in my life, maybe I felt powerless to change something in my life. Maybe I felt incapable, something like that. And it wasn't any one particular person, there was no face to it, but it was just a feeling of helplessness and powerlessness. Now, this is another reason why sleep is so important for anxiety recovery. Sleep is where we can rest and process stress and emotions. I'm sure you've experienced having a bad day and then having a good night's rest and then perhaps waking up feeling better. Or you may have noticed feeling more anxious and irritable when you don't get a good night's rest. If you wake up with morning anxiety, this can be a reason why. You may have had energy and emotions surfacing while you slept in an attempt to feel and process them. We also have, your cortisol levels are highest in the morning, which is normal. That's your circadian rhythms. So we may notice more activation to get you kind of moving and mobilized for the day. But a common experience is waking up with some morning anxiety or high activation, or just waking up randomly out of nowhere. This can be a reason why. Just your unconscious emotions and energy coming up to the surface, trying to be processed. So if you ever notice in the morning, just self-regulate the best way you can. Practice one of my somatic self-care exercises that you can use in the lessons. Repeating patterns. Have you ever noticed how you repeat certain patterns in your life? Now, there is a game to this experience we call life. You are destined to repeat your patterns until you heal, learn, and level up. For example, the guy or girl who always seems to attract similar people and relationships. Now, the universe has a funny way of delivering to you people and experiences that will trigger your wounds in an attempt to get you to face yourself and heal. If you lack the conscious awareness or the ability to heal, you typically end up just repeating the pattern and stacking even more trauma on top. But once you heal, as if by magic, you notice that you start attracting much higher quality people in your life. Your triggers are an invitation to healing, to a deeper level of consciousness, a deeper level of being and knowing yourself. Anxious thoughts. You have two types of thoughts. Conscious thoughts that you choose to think. So, for example, if I'm sitting here and I'm trying to solve a problem, I'm going to consciously think about it. And automatic subconscious thoughts that happen on their own. Any anxious, intrusive thoughts that just seem to loop over and over never come from your conscious mind. They're coming from your subconscious mind or your body. Now, here's the reason why. Your anxious thoughts are a subconscious attempt to trigger unprocessed feelings from the past so you can feel through them and heal. The problem with this is that we have become overthinkers and underfeelers. So we try to outthink the thought through analysis rather than feel and heal what the thought triggers in the body. So here's an example. I remember going through a breakup, and as much as it consumed my thoughts, it also consumed my conversations. I was visiting my mum, and it got to a point where she shouted, "Shane, you've gone over this like 10 times, and now enough." Now, while this also highlights my mum's complete lack of ability to hold space for my emotions, it was one of the reasons I experienced anxiety myself. It was also a wake-up call that made me aware I was in a pattern. I disconnected from my body because it was too uncomfortable to feel, and I escaped to my head, a standard strategy we use as modern humans. So instead of trying to understand why, instead I explored what I was feeling, and it actually took me quite a while sitting with it to even begin to notice how I felt. This is why we try to analyze and figure out what went wrong, which is nothing wrong with doing. Sometimes that can be a good thing to do to reflect. But whenever we're having anxious thoughts that are repeating themselves, we want to feel through it. Anxious thoughts are never about the situation. They're about how the situation makes you feel. Your mind will conjure up all sorts of crazy things in order to get you to feel the feelings you avoid that have built up inside you because it wants you to heal. For example, I've had some OCD clients experience some horrific thoughts like harming their children. And now when I asked my client how it made her feel, she said scared, guilty, and ashamed. Guess what three emotions she avoided the most and had built up inside her? Yes, scared, guilt, and shame. Thinking cannot create a feeling as nothing is actually happening. Any feelings or activation that happens in your body from a thought is coming from within, from past experiences. The good news is that your body wants to heal, and you just need to learn how to heal safely and effectively. Now, I lay out exactly how in the step-by-step roadmap to anxiety recovery in the anxiety recovery toolkit, which if you have the instant anxiety recovery, you will have this included with it. And that's the thing. The body wants to heal. Any feeling, anytime a feeling is coming up to the surface, another good thing that I didn't put in here to remember is that anytime a feeling is coming up, it's coming out. If you could allow safety to experience it, it gets more intense as it's coming up to the surface. Imagine that feelings aren't coming from anywhere outside of you. This is sometimes the misconception. We feel like the emotion is coming from the outside in, and we try to hide away and not feel it. But what's really happening is when we're feeling it, it's coming from the inside, coming out. So as it's coming up to the surface, you actually want to relax and allow it to move through you rather than trying to hide from it and resist it because we feel like, oh my God, if we let the feeling in, then we're going to get stuck with it. This is the opposite of what's happening. We actually want to go, oh, this feeling's coming up for me. How can I create enough safety to allow it to move through me? Again, feeling and healing is easier said than done, but this is why I create the somatic release method to be able to teach you how to feel and how to heal. As always, if you have any questions about what's been covered, please ask in the community and I'll be more than happy to answer your questions.